Hey, it's a Wolf, and in this video we're going to go over the spawning locations for these Pillager Outposts. So I've built upon the work of Silent Whisperer. He has made a couple of discoveries, or people have told him stuff and he shared it, whichever. But I have taken that, run with that, and added some more stuff to make it even easier to figure all the things out. For example, right up the top, I've discovered that every single Pillager Outpost has the exact same spawning location as its primary one in the structure. So this is going to be pretty useful. So the first step, and this is something that Silent Whisperer covered, each of these Pillager Outposts has either 1, 2, or 4 spawning locations for the pillagers. So it's based on where which direction the outpost faces, and it's also based on where it is on chunk borders. However, the method that I figured out, you don't need to have any chunk border resource packs or figure out where your chunk borders are or anything like that. All you need is some dirt and a sunflower. So we put our sunflower down and we see which direction east is. So the sunflower always points east, even in the nether. So this sunflower is pointing that way, so that way's east, and I like to have east on my right just because it makes it easy to think about it in terms of northeast, southwest. So if the east is facing right, then I am facing north currently. So what we need to find is this doorway. So this doorway here, it can be, there's only one doorway generated. So the structure looks exactly the same. There's only one doorway generated, and if you want to know ahead of time how many spawning locations an outpost is going to have, just find that door and then we can go from there. So if the door is on the east or west side, so for this one here, if the door was on this side, so east or west, then the outpost is going to have 2 spawning locations. If the door is to the north, it's going to have 4 spawning locations, and south is 1. So this one here, if we look at the thing, I'm facing north currently, which means that if I'm looking at this doorway facing north, then this is on the south side. So the spawning locations, and this is going to be super useful for playing in survival mode. I'm in creative mode at the moment, just so I can talk to you without having to deal with pillagers. So if we come to this doorway, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right, that there is going to be the spawning location every single time. From this door, in 4, and then 1 across. And so then we go straight up. Let me see, make sure I'm going straight up. 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3. So that there is the spawning location. So essentially in survival, you'll kind of fight your way here. You mark that, and then come up the stairs, fight whoever's here, get on this one here, and we go 1 to there. So we mark that one. Fight anyone who's coming down, go up these stairs, fight anyone who might be in here, and then we look up. What is it? 1, 2, 1 to this one here, just making sure that I'm exactly underneath, and then we fight anyone who is up here. So if you, I don't know, say you're in creative mode or whatever, see where this chest is? This chest always generates, so we got the stairway here, this chest always generates right there, and then this block here is always the spawning block. Always, always, always. Now the reason why I'm marking it with dirt is so that we can use the sunflower. So if the sunflower is facing the stairs, then it is only going to have 1 spawning location. If the sunflower is facing away from the stairs, that way, it's going to have 4. And if it's facing parallel to the stairs, So let's say the sunflower was facing out that way or facing out that way, then it's going to have two spawning locations. So if this is east, then north is over here, which means west is over there, which means right here is where the spawning location for this is going to be. So that and there. So this one here, we know, so the flower was facing the stairs, so this is only going to have one spawning location, so we don't need to do anything other than this. Right here, inside this cage here, before I was having to, like I was putting glass panes everywhere and trying to figure out exactly where it was. This right here, so you don't want to do it on the bottom level, you want to do it head height. This here is going to contain the spawning location for the pillagers. So if I go far enough out, where am I? What's that? 840. So let's go out to 870, thereabouts. So if we wait here for a second, we should see the pillager spawning right in that area there. And there it is. So you don't have to go and test out whether there's any more spawning locations. Because the sunflower was facing the stairs, this one only has one spawning location. So I have been hunting around this world. This is actually a Kata world, a creative copy of it. I've been hunting around and found the other variations. So I'll show you each of those variations. So if we go to this one here. So let's test out our theory. I already know the answer to this one, but it's good to see it in action. So, need dirt. So, east is that way. So, I'm currently facing north. No door, no door. There's the door. So, if we remember, east is that way. Then this one here, the door is on the east side. So we come in, this is the wall here. So sometimes this is wood, sometimes this is stone. This is irrelevant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that one there. Right there. And then we want to go up here. 1, 2, 3. That one's directly above. Maybe you're better at knowing exactly which one is directly above than me. This one here. So we fight. Find this location here. Move, spider, you're in my way. Well, we got 2 away from there. 1, 2, that one there. And you'll see this is exactly the same position in relation to the chest. See? Everything looks exactly the same. However, remember in the previous one, the flower faced the stairs. This one is going to be parallel. So it's facing the same direction as the stairs. Whether it's facing the up the stairs or it's facing this one, let's say it's facing that way, this one is going to be a 2 spawn location. So what does that mean? So that means I got this one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Going to take it right to the end, and then this here, this is going to be the spawning location. So our flower is that way, so east, that's east. So we're facing north, so it's on the northwest corner, so it's going to spawn right there. I'm going to put that there, and then let's put this up at head height. So we're going to see that, so the blue one is the spawning location, but the mobs always spawn on the northwest side of the block. So it's going to spawn on that location there. So this glass will trap that one. And northwest is, yep, is that one. So let's do this. When you do it, make sure that you get rid of the one from the bottom, just in case. Otherwise, you may get frustrated that nothing is spawning. So where are we? 62. So if we go out to, is good, 30 away, and then we just wait, and the pillagers are going to spawn in those areas. Let's speed it up by killing all the mobs nearby. Normally I wouldn't do that, but because this is just a tutorial test world, so we've got one of them has spawned in, and I find that this one here always spawns in first. I don't know, maybe it's just a random thing, or maybe it's not. Maybe that's the primary spawning spot, but eventually we will get one spawning in this one here. Okay, we've got one spawned in there. Let's see if we've caught any in there. Yeah, so we've got two trapped in these two here, which is cool. So just to show you what I mean in terms of chunk borders, you don't need to have this to be able to use this method, but we have, so the location is here, and then see how this one lines up on a chunk border. So we've got one in this chunk, we've got another in this chunk, however there is a gap here. So on the one with four spawning spots, this border here is actually along here, so that it does something like this. So this blue one is the spawning location for this particular one here, and this is actually in a different chunk to the primary one. So that is actually why it behaves the way it does. So if we were to go back to our previous one, this one, oops. So we've got this one here. So if we were to put our armor stand here, oops, you'd see there's a gap here, and there's a gap here, which is why this is a single spawner, single spawning spot location for the Pillager Outpost. So before we get to the 4 one, let's go to the other 2. This one here. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out which this one is. So we look around, see where the door is located. So we got the door here. So this is how we tell, say for example, you actually cared about how many spawning locations there were. And it can actually be important, particularly on if it's flat ground like this. It's less important if there's a moat around it, but here there's, if there's going to be multiple spawning locations, then they can actually spawn on the ground, which I found out the hard way one time. Okay, so this one here, this flower faces east, always faces east, and it's only the sunflower that does that. So we're looking east, which means that this door is on the west. So this is going to be a 2 spawning location 1. Remember, east and west is 2, south is 1, north is 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and here. And then we look up. 1, 2, 3, this one. Oops. Fight, come through. Fight. And here. And you'll see this is in exactly the same position in relation to the chest. So this is the spawning location. We use dirt so that we know which way it is. So that's east. So if we have the flower facing to our right, then it is going to be this corner here. This is where the actual spawning will happen. Excuse me, lads. So we'll put that there. Do that. Put that there. Then that is going to contain it. Before we do that, just to double check, just to show it again. So if the flower is facing up or down the stairs, then it's going to be a 2 spawning location. So we go here. Alright, I have just realized that I sort of made a mistake. This one here is still fine. However, this is incorrect. That's not in the right spot. So if the sunflower is facing downstairs, then the spawn spot is out that way. That's it. Wrong side. So we go out to here, here, and then the spawning location is going to be there. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So it's going to be there. That makes more sense. It felt a bit weird that it would spawn out like that. So we have there, and then this. I spent ages watching, and nothing was spawning. That. So the spawning location is here. So let's demonstrate that one. Up to 110. Alright, there we go. That is better. So what we've learnt from this is if the sunflower is facing upstairs, then the spawning location is going to be out to the right. If the sunflower is facing downstairs, then the sunflower is going to be, the spawning spot is going to be in the direction that the sunflower has gone. All right, next up, we will go and see, and if you aren't sure and you just want to double check, you can always check your borders, and this is how I figured out that I had it wrong. So there's a gap here, so it's not on this side, but it lines up on this side. So that's that. Okay, next up, let's go to the 4 location spawner. So if you want the ultimate raid farm, you want to try and find this one. Okay, here we are. This one here is a 4 spawning location. So remember, the door on a 4 spawner is going to face north. So sunflowers face east, so that means we're currently facing north. This door is on the north side. So you'll see the spawning location, the primary spawning location is in exactly the same position as it always is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there. And we look up in the right spot. 1, 2, 3. That must be it. Yeah. Felt wrong. Okay, this one here. Fight. And this one here, and you'll see it is in the exact same location in relation to the chest that all the others are. The difference is in this one here, the sunflower is going to face away from the stairs, like so. So this facing away from the stairs means that we have 4 spawning spots. So even if you don't do the test beforehand, if you come in and figure out, you know, maybe you see that the sun see that the sun is rising over here, or probably going to fight in the day, so you see it setting over that side because it rises in the east and sets in the west. So this location here, that's going out this way in line with this. So our spawning spot's going to be here, and we're going to have a spawning spot in line with this here, and then there's going to be another one in the corner over there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the spawning spot is going to be here. Let's make the spawning spots blue. Just because there's 4 of them. Okay. So then, because I wasn't paying attention before, so they spawn on the northwest corner, which that's east, that's north, so it's going to be this corner up here. So you see each time it is slightly different in the overall location in relation to the thing. Right. So we've got to put something here so that it can spawn easily enough. And then over, come on. So over here we want that there. Oops. And then this one here, we are going to need something there. Thank you. Alright, so that we can see, actually before we do that, let's just show you why this works in terms of chunk borders. So we've got our primary spot here, always in this square. So we've got the chest, got the stairs, miss one, and it's there. Always, always there. So you see the border runs along this wall here, and it also runs along this one here. So this is in a different chunk, this is in a different chunk, and actually let's put on a wider area so you can see. So this blue one is in one chunk, this is in another chunk, and another chunk. So let's clear some space up here just so that when I'm up there I can see it. Yep. Then let's go to 110. So we should be able to see we got 3, just need one more. Come on. One more to prove that it's a quad spawning location. Well, that blows my theory out that the primary one always goes first. We're still waiting for the third one, unless, alright, there we go. So you can see we have spawning spots in all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the locations. If you, all you need is either a sunflower or to know which direction the sun is rising and setting. And if you can do that, then you just come up the stairs, follow the same pattern. This block here will always be the spawning location. One in from the top of the stairs. We've got the chest there. I don't know whether this is the same in Java or it's just a Bedrock thing, but I know that this is how it works in Bedrock. So if the flower or east is facing away from the stairs, then it's a 4 location. If the flower is facing towards the stairs, or east is out that way, then this is the only location. If the flower is facing upstairs, so facing towards the chest, let's go with that one. If the flower is facing towards the chest, or that's east, then we are going to have, so this location, and this is going to be the spawning location. And if the flower is facing towards, facing away from the chest, or that direction there is east, then we're going to have this as the spawning location. and this as the spawning location. So when you are spawn proofing the area, you want to come down here and make sure that you put a leaf or put leaves on around this one here, or bottom slabs, whichever, around all of them on each of the floors, and then it will all be good. And you also want to do it on the ground as well. But the easiest way is to just come through the door, find your initial spawn spot, fight your way through, come up until you get to here. And if you use dirt, then you can use the sunflower. So that pretty much sums up what I have discovered about the way that the pillagers generate in the structure. So super helpful if you're making more than one, or like you're making a more advanced pillager outpost. All right, hope you found this useful, and I will see you in the next one.